the book of Alpharonomy, nigga. Read it or weep.
Should you enforce traditional gender roles in your relationship? This is a pretty hot topic, and of course men and women see this differently for the most part, but there is one angle that I've gotten both men and women to agree with. Yes, you can enforce traditional gender roles in your relationship, but under several key circumstances. And without these conditions, you might as well not even think about it. But we'll go more in depth right now. Prepare for takeoff. Hey, what's good? It's Dr. BoA, aka Book of Alpharonomy. Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that right now. If you want to get all of the content I release that trains men, guides men, leads men, and influences men to become the most alpha version of themselves. Let's get into the show. Should you enforce traditional gender roles in your relationship? Now, what do I mean by traditional gender roles? I mean where the wife is a stay-at-home mom and she takes care of the home and she takes care of the children, and the husband is the primary source of income, the primary provider of the lifestyle. Now, let's be honest. The majority of men in this society, not just black men, not just white men, the majority of men in this particular society are not equipped to be in that position. So the answer for the majority of men in this society is no. You should not attempt to enforce traditional gender roles in your relationship because you simply do not pay the cost to be that type of boss. You can't afford it. Your wife has to go out and work. Not wants to go out and work, has to go out and work in order for the bills to get paid. Everything doesn't get paid if your wife doesn't pay half of the bills or whatever her portion of the bills is. Now, to that small percentage of men who are situated in a position to be able to pay the cost to be that type of boss, of course, you should willingly and readily enforce traditional gender roles in your relationship. It is the most beneficial position for a man to be in, and contrary to what you might believe, the majority of women that I've talked to about this will agree that that is an ideal situation. What they are tired of is men who can't afford to be that kind of boss attempting to play that position. That position comes with the knowledge that you are fully financially responsible for everything in the household. Yes, she may go out and make money. She may go out and do things. And of course, that money must be spent on things that she wants to do. She doesn't get to take that money and just give it to her family. Of course, things like getting her hair done, her beautification process, that is something she was doing before she met you. You should never take on the burden of a woman's beautification process if she's already been taking care of it before she met you. You understand? Now she can spend more money on it. She can spend her money making sure she stays presentable to you as a pretty, young, tender, sexual thing. That is her job. You understand what I'm saying? So yes, allow her to take that income and do that. But she must understand that she must always be on point. There are no, I just didn't feel good today, so I look thrown away. There are no days like that. Because there are no days for you where you say, well, I just didn't feel like paying the house note today. I just didn't feel like paying the car note today. I just didn't feel like paying the maid. I just didn't feel like paying the nanny. I just didn't feel like paying the landscape maintenance company. I just didn't feel like paying the automotive shops to keep the cars tuned and running in pristine condition. So the same way you can't take any days off, she can't take any days off. Traditional gender roles took place during a time where the circumstances were different. Women didn't have many opportunities to earn income then, outside of doing some menial task. Women didn't have many opportunities that they have now. They didn't have many opportunities for the education process. And some of this took place during the time where they didn't even have the right to vote. So what we're talking about is light years ahead now, where women have access to just about everything men have access to. So the thing is, if you're going to ask a woman now to do that, she has a choice. She doesn't have to settle for that life. A woman has to make a conscious decision to settle into that life now, because she has the option to just be by herself and pay her own bills. So yes, if you want the modern woman to come in and play that traditional gender role, you have to be able to pay the cost to be that type of boss. You cannot expect a woman to bow down to you when she is paying the cost to be half boss. You understand? When she's paying half cost to be half boss, you can't run her. She doesn't have to submit to you. Submission is earned by you being in a position of power that no one else in the equation can ascertain. This is what you men must understand. If you want to enforce the traditional gender roles in your relationship, you must first understand, study, accept, and embrace the traditional breadwinner provider role. If you don't accept that role, then there is no traditional gender role. See, a lot of men wrongfully want a woman to submit to that traditional gender role, even if you don't embrace the traditional provider gender role. It doesn't work that way. In order for her not to work and not to be able to be concerned about that and stay at home like Florida Evans, you got to be able to go out and get that paper. And I'm not talking about go out there and struggle with it like James Evans. You got to be able to provide a modern lifestyle to a woman that you want to sit at home. If you're broke and y'all gonna be living busted and disgusted, no woman wants to settle for that with you, man. There are some women who don't mind going off the grid. They'll go off the grid with you. But very few women out here exist like that. And very few of you men want to go off the grid anyway. You don't want to go live in a makeshift house that's really a school bus. You don't want to go live in a van. You don't want to go live in one of those pods, moving compartments. You don't want to live in one of those. Many people do. You may not even want to go live in a tiny house. Whatever lifestyle your woman is used to, it is your job to provide that lifestyle if you want her to accept the traditional wifey in the kitchen, taking care of the children, serving you sexually role. That's just the bottom line. Any man who can't pay the cost to be that type of boss doesn't even need to consider that. You dead wrong for even bringing that traditional gender role stuff up to a woman. You understand what I'm saying? But any woman who accepts that position, you had better understand that your position is submission. And as long as that understanding is had and accepted by both parties, the traditional gender role can be successful in a relationship. But it is not going to be easy. Because in these modern times, women just aren't used to that. Y'all comment down below and let me know what you think about this topic. I look forward to hearing what you have to say. I'm out. Like this video on your way out if you enjoyed the content. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. When you subscribe, click that notification bell. Make sure your notifications are on so you can be alerted to when I upload some more of this real shit. And as always, alpha's up, beta's down. Peace.